Well, to start this off, last week I didn't think our guys played a clean game, but one thing I am proud of is that they showed a lot of resiliency. I thought they did a heck of a job of finding a way to put us in position to give us an opportunity to have a chance of winning. I love the grit that we showed, but we do understand we got some things to work on. We started with that yesterday in practice, and on top of that, early in the week with film work. And I think our guys, playing in that game got their attention. And so now we're at this point that, hey, it's Thursday, and I know it's a Friday for everyone else in the outside our world, but our guys are focused and ready and are determined to play better. With that said, I'm all ears here.
Let's start with Blair Kirchhoff. Go ahead, Blair.
Coach, I know you know Marcus Peters well. What makes him so dangerous, and what do you remember about those Patrick Mahomes running scout teams and going against Marcus Peters?
You know what? Marcus is a very, very highly intelligent football player. He takes a tremendous amount of pride in studying. He's very athletic. He's probably one of the best playing off corners in this league right now. But he's always been a student of the game. He'll give you that perception that he isn't. But one thing he does, he takes a tremendous amount of pride in studying, and then he goes out there and he executes, and he asks questions. He does it the right way. So I'm looking forward to watching this battle. Those guys had a few battles a few years ago, but we're not even thinking about that. We're thinking about what's going to take place this up-and-coming weekend. And kudos to those guys because they're playing pretty damn good ball on their side of the ball out there.
Go next to Rob Collins. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, EB, there's been some talk about Patrick drifting back in the pocket a little too far, making it tough on the O-line to keep their blocks. Have you noticed that? Is that an issue, maybe why the offense is out of sync here?
Well, it's a combination of everything. I mean, it's us. We're just out of sync. All right, last week it was a tough deal. It was tough. It's the first time our guys have played in the empty stadium. We're living in a different day and age. You know, the thing that my message to them at halftime was like, the only thing I want to see and find out is who loves the game, okay? I know it's a different environment. It's a different atmosphere, but we got to have the ability, all right, to shut all that out, all right? It's about living in the now and making sure that we're maximizing this opportunity. So if we love it, okay, we're going to find a way to overcome it. So, yeah, we were out of sync. Could be Pat drifting. It could be us not executing up front. Could be guys not getting open downfield. But when it's all said and done with, collectively, we all have to do a better job. And that starts with us as coaches.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. So you spoke a bit about Marcus Peters.
Coach is done. Can you go tell them that?
Uh-oh.
You spoke a bit about Marcus Peters. He's part of this. But when you're facing the Ravens, best defense in the NFL so far this season, like 11 points allowed per game, what are some of the challenges that you're looking at when you're facing them?
Oh, some of the challenges? I mean, just look at the guys up front. I mean, you got Calais Campbell, who just came in from Jacksonville. I can't think of the kid's name, but it's a damn shame. Derek Wolfe, number 95. Seemed like we've played against him for the past decade. They got Brandon Williams, who's a hell of a player. Pernell McPhee. All right. On top of that, they got Judon coming off the edge. And then they signed that young kid out of LSU, Patrick Queen. So those guys are pretty stingy up front. And knowing Coach Harbaugh, and knowing the type of team that he wants, those are just the personalities that make them who they are. Because when you got guys like that, and then you combine that with the secondary, with the kid Marlon Humphreys and Peters, and I'm not slighting anybody else, but those guys do a hell of a job, and they do it the right way. And they got a hell of a defensive coordinator in Wink Martindale as well. So we just got to go out there and be who we are. That's line up and play, one play at a time, execute, play for each other, all right, be accountable, and the only thing that matters, regardless of what happens on that particular play, it's going to be a 15-round old school heavyweight fight. We got to come out swinging, all right? But we understand it's not going to be how you start. It's going to be about how you finish and sustain.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Eric. Andy was talking yesterday about the way Pat was running the ball against the Chargers and how that's always been a big part of the West Coast offense. But obviously there's limits on how much you want him to do that. So what's your advice to him when he does that? And are you pretty happy how he's picking and choosing his spots with all that?
You know what? I'm satisfied with what he's doing. I mean, he's doing a good job because they're doing some things in coverages and then mixing it up. And when they're doing that, he's maximizing the opportunity because there's not a whole player spying him. So if he sees a lane, he takes it. Kudos to him. And also, too, he made some huge runs that helped us down the end to put us in position to have a chance of going into overtime and also winning the game as well. So you never want to take that part away from him. The thing that we need to do a better job of is just keeping him upright. All right. And like I said, we got to make sure that the 5 guys up front are doing it the right way. But also, too, Pat got to be accountable, but making sure he's taking the proper footwork. And then all the other supporting players, whether it's receivers with their routes, with timing, or backs or tight ends involved in protection, we got to make sure that we're collectively getting it done. So when it's all said and done with, like I said, we didn't play a clean game last week. Okay. But I will say this, our guys showed some grit to get it done. And that's all you can ask for. Okay. We'll clean up the details. That's why we're involved in practice this week. We got to finalize some things over the next couple of days, but we're looking forward to this challenge.
Got time for a couple more guys. Let's go Sam and then Nate. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Eric. We asked Patrick Mahomes yesterday about that 2-point conversion. He mentioned that the first read wasn't there. As a coach, have you just become so accustomed to him finding something that you saw the confidence that play will be executed, and also just how important it was that the McCole, Tyreek, those guys still also were continuing on with the play, even though they weren't the first option there?
You know what? Our guys got a tremendous amount of chemistry. These guys know each other. They love one another. I mean, these guys have been together for a while. So they understand if things aren't right with the first read, the second read has to become available. If nothing's right with the second read, the third read has to become available. So those guys just stay alive. They stay on the move. And Pat is always utilizing his eyes and keeping them downfield. So he just happened to go through his progression. He found McCole. McCole does a hell of a job. It seems something like it's so simple and yet so easy, but that was a hell of a catch that he made. And it was a big time catch that put us in position to have a chance. And so that's just the guys that we have. These guys love what they do. You know, we just need to do it better at a more consistent rate.
Let's go last to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Eric, you guys played 2 teams that relatively, like you mentioned before, decided to play coverage and obviously keep things in front of you. You're probably going to get the opposite of that on Monday with the Ravens, who love to blitz. That's been one of the key things that they've done against you guys the last 2 years. How do you prepare for that when you haven't really seen a blitz-heavy team this year? And then what have you seen the Ravens do so far on defense to give you an idea of what exotic blitzes may come?
Well, we preparing. First of all, kudos to them because they are a great team when it comes to putting together some exotic pressures. These guys are going to get after us, and that's okay. We're preparing as if it's going to be a blitz drill, and that's how we're going to play this game. Every play, we're going to expect pressure. And so with that said, our guys, we're practicing the exact same way. Not necessarily just saying, hey, they run this blitz or this blitz. We're pulling pressures from all numbers of times in different situations in which they have shown different type of things. So we want to make sure that our guys are ready, that they understand the rules. More importantly, that they're doing a great job of over communicating and then going up there and stepping up to the plate and punching and fighting and making sure we're straining the finish to give the quarterback an opportunity to make the big play down the field.
Coach EB, we appreciate your time today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.